Glenn Logan would be a huge.
You don't think he's talking about Richard?
I think it is expected that Richard's back.
I was kidding.
Yeah.
No, I went out to practice on Wednesday, and Divinity, Lawrence, and Logan were all out there bouncing around.
Logan
Okay,
No
moving?
excuse.
How'd Logan look?
okay. I mean, I was watching. They were doing a little, shuffle under the overhang thing, rip through the bag, miss the ball as it's a chop block. I mean, they were just kind of bouncing around. They all looked, reasonably healthy.
So once again, there's no excuse. Like, the injury excuse is now thrown out of the window. I know you still got Todd Harrison. I mean, but Cordell Flott with his miraculous recovery, as Coach O deemed it. Now here we knew that Lawrence and Chasson were probably going to be back, Divinity as well. But if you're getting Glenn Logan back as well, you're at full strength. Make it happen. Dave Aranda. What do you think, Hunt? I know that everybody's previewed so much the LSU offense against the Florida defense because it's just like, incredible statistical group on incredible statistical group. But when I think in terms of pressure, or when I think in terms of like having something to prove, I actually think Dave Aranda arguably has the most on the line this game.
The last two games that Dan Mullen's coached against Dave Aranda, they've totaled 500 rushing yards.
Damn.
So, got to stop the run first. Dan Mullen, in those two games, you had Nick Fitzgerald playing quarterback and a young Filipe Franks playing quarterback. Neither one of those guys is very good. And Dan Mullen made things so easy for them. That's what he's so good at, is taking mediocre to below average quarterbacks and making things easy for them. Last year, LSU had no answer for Filipe Franks running off right tackle. And they sat there in 2nd and 4 all day. And that's so easy for a quarterback. And he's going to try to do the same thing tomorrow, make things easy for Kyle Trask. I got to think that Dave Aranda is going to have something else cooked up.
Yeah, also, one thing to note, Florida not very good at running the ball this game. And so if they manage to have rushing success, it'll really be inexplicable, especially with how good LSU's rush defense has been. What do you think, Hunt? Matchups, right? We've talked about them all week. What do you think are going to be the most important matchups to deciding the game?
I talked to Hester when we came in before the show yesterday. I was like, this station runs 40 hours of LSU talk a week. Like, what can we do that's a little bit different? And in the first segment we talked about one thing that I think has kind of been overlooked a little bit. I expect to see a good amount of Emery Jones tomorrow at quarterback for Florida. I don't know that Kyle Trask can move very well. Certainly can't cut. The read option is going to be very limited, and that's an easy thing for a quarterback to do, like we just talked about. But Emery Jones can come in and run it, and his completion percentage is high this year, so he can throw it if he needs to. I just think with that injury in this environment that you're going to see some more Emery Jones than people are talking about right now. And I think LSU knows that, but that's something I expect to see.
To me, I've been critical of Mullen in the way that he's used Jones because he's almost force-fed him into the game and stalled his offense. I mean, really, Trask, for the first week that he was using, was it 2 weeks ago?
He came in the Kentucky game, and then he started the Tennessee game.
And against Tennessee, he was rolling early. He pulls him out, puts Emery Jones in, and Trask just kind of loses his way. I mean, he kind of falls out of rhythm like a quarterback. Like a quarterback wants to find their rhythm. Once they find their rhythm, don't mess with them. And Emery Jones has kind of been a guy that Mullen has force-fed into the game. So I'm with you, especially with a lack of running.
That's the issue. Is if he can't run and you don't have a strong run game, you're going to count on Kyle Trask on a bum knee to sit in the pocket and go to work. That's not going to work.
It shouldn't work. If it does work, then there are serious problems with this LSU defense.
So a lot of people talking about Mullen versus Aranda. How about Brady versus Grantham, or Brady and Insminger versus Grantham here?
Yeah,
how
put
do you
some
like
respect
that?
on each
How do you
name.
like that matchup?
I wish I could be different or just come up with something fresh to talk about. This is pretty simple. If Florida's able to get home with 4, it could be a long day thrown against a really athletic 7-man defense. If Grantham's got to bring 5, 6, 7 guys to try to get there, Burrow will eat them alive. So essentially, all you're talking about here is we've seen LSU's offense and everyone thinks it's great. And one of two things will happen tomorrow when we'll find out because Florida's defense is good. Either they're that good and they're going to throw it all over Florida and go score 35, 42 points, or we didn't realize the offensive line stinks and Florida ate them up and they're not as good as we thought. That's where the game, I think, is won or lost.
Are you surprised that Ingram's not starting?
There were a couple of protections he wasn't quite ready to go with in the game, a little bit. But what I do know now is that on a team that's been kind of hampered with injuries for over a month, the offensive line, which was injured the entire camp, has essentially been together the entire time and been. They should be cohesive. They should be healthy. They should be ready to go. They need to play well. If they can pick up this ridiculous pass rush of 4 guys, I think LSU is going to be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I mean, and there has been some consistency there, but really what's maybe a bit worrisome, Hunt, is that the one position, as you're pointing out, that you need the most consistency out of Sadiq Charles. He has been one of the guys that's, just been unavailable at times this year because of coach's decision.
Yeah, that's a good decision, I guess.
So does that make
poor decision before the season, obviously.
Does that make you I guess I don't know. Is it are we kind of off base in expecting Charles to be able to come in despite kind of going one game on, one game off and perform against these elite defensive ends?
No, he's a junior and he's good and he needs to just go out there and play left tackle. He's a good player. I thought last year he was slowed by an injury and didn't play very well, but he's healthy and ready to go. He needs to show up and be a stud.
What are you looking forward to most about tomorrow? And maybe not even the game, just the environment, tailgate plans. What's Hunt Palmer getting into?
I have about 2 of these weeks a year, and this is one. This is one of them. They probably just need to send a memo to Gainesville and tell them not to get on the plane today. It's not going to go well for them tomorrow.
I agree.
It's going to be ugly in there. I think LSU is going to run them off the field.
Wow.
And I don't think they can score with LSU. I think Burrow is just playing at a level that's too good, and I just think they're going to run them off the field.
I mean, like we said, man, let's just keep it simple. Let's take a step back, the bird's eye view. Joe Burrow versus Kyle Trask in the game of football. Like, what the hell are we talking about? The reason why Texas was so dangerous, on top of that great offensive line, it was Joe Burrow versus Sam Ehlinger. Kyle Trask is not Sam Ehlinger. There's no cage rush BS. There's no worried about him running. No, as we said, this is light your hair on fire pass rushing. I'm in agreement, Hunt. It's that weird situation where my confidence scares me because of how good I feel about this matchup.
Who can make the most money tomorrow?
That's not a bad place to be.
Who can make the most money tomorrow? Let's answer that question correctly. Kayla Vaughn, who hadn't showed up.
I think I agree.
If he decides, this is everybody. When you go to SEC Media Days, there's a cookie cutter narrative for every team you talk about. They, this, that, what, and so one of Florida's was their offensive line's not very good. But how much have we really watched Florida? I haven't watched a ton of Florida. I watched a little bit, but then Matt has a guest on that covers Florida yesterday. He says, "How's the offensive line?" He goes, "It's not good."
No, it's really bad.
And so, get some pressure.
Yeah,
I expect Mullen to try to run short passes and a little read option and throw a trick play in there. And he's a master at keeping things simple, but inevitably, if you can get them into 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, because they can't run the ball, there's not that much you can do. So go get the quarterback. It's going to be loud in there. It's going to be tough to communicate. Trask's never done it before. He's never played. Somebody told me he hadn't started since he was a JV quarterback.
Yeah,
14 years old.
Yeah, is the last time he had a road start.
He has not started a road game since he was in 8th grade.
Well,
which I still don't understand.
This ain't going to be your standard road game. This is going to be a problem.
That is amazing. Yeah. To be a quarterback and play at the University of Florida and not start a road game since your 8th grade football year.
It's kind of like the Matt Castle stat where he never started a game in college and got drafted.
Yeah.
He played behind the liner, I think.
This one's more unbelievable.
No, you should start in high school. But De'Aaron King's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly right. He's a Houston quarterback, right?
All right, so Hunt Palmer, tomorrow's 7 o'clock kickoff. 10 minutes after 7 is the official kick time. You guys take to the air at 5 o'clock. Going to be a late night. For you guys.
That's all right. Tomorrow is going to be so good. It's going to be so good. I can't wait to get out there. Camp's going to be on fire in Florida. Like I said, there's you heard the cliche, you ran into a buzzsaw. Here, crank it up.
LSU Sports Radio Network tomorrow, Eagle 98.1 right here in the listening area and whatever your affiliate may be around the state for listening to the LSU football team. Hunt will have your pregame coverage 5 o'clock tomorrow, and then right after the game, postgame for 90 minutes. LSU Sports Radio Network and every Friday here with us.